So cartography takes many forms. In the first slide, we showed an Ordnance Survey map version of Master Map, which was using a standard legend. And many people would just download that sort of data and use that legend. But if you buy data online, and particularly things to suppliers from Ordnance Survey, you'd find they quite often give you different cartographic presentations of the data. It's worth looking at different offerings to see what works best for you within the design that you're trying to create. Publishers, like those who produce UK Map, for example, have their own distinctive style, and they use this as a way of differentiating their products. Use these to sort of understand how things work. It's quite often said that there's no right way to do a map, but there's plenty of wrong ways to do it. So look at what people have done, learn from that, and then apply it. Of course, there's more than just the standard topographic maps. And on the left of this slide, we've got some examples where we're showing the way you can colour up and change in the third dimension. So, for example, relief is the obvious thing in this area. In the 2D map of the UK, you can see colour is used to emphasise height with a 3-colour ramp, so green through yellow to brown. It can be that you use a 2-dimensional map and you effectively depict it in a 2.5D format. So the example here is a geological map that's draped over a terrain model, and it shows the relationship of rock to relief. This doesn't always work well, particularly if you're draping a map that's got a lot of text on it. Text doesn't necessarily work well in a draped form. So you have to think carefully about it. In some cases, we can use colour, but it's photorealistic, and we can generate almost image type map looking products. And increasingly, as we use sort of gaming solutions and software for building realistic objects that can be placed on a map, this is a technique that's becoming more important in cartographic design. Chris?
Then we come on to thematic mapping. We see a lot of these about, and they are often very poor cartographically. A topographic map generally depicts all the features with an equal level of importance. You show only what is necessary. In a thematic map, you are making a theme more important than others and using colour or symbols to emphasise the extremes in values that are associated with it. This type of map is used to show distributions and highlighting areas of particular importance. How you do this will depend on the type of information you are trying to show and how it is distributed. Usually it is associated with areas, but can be depicted in the form of symbols. For example, larger is more, or more copies of the symbol is more. A high density of dots, or larger, darker dots, emphasize an increase in a particular value. The most common form is the choropleth map, which is just using a color ramp to emphasize the distribution. But a lot depends on how you classify your data. The things to consider are: what is the range in values? How many classes do you want? 4 to 6 is common. And are the classes equally divided across the whole range of values? And what units are being measured? The class breakdown is really important. So a data set with, for example, values of 1 to 70 divided into 7 classes would give values 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and so on. But if there are only a few outliers with values in the 1 to 10 or 61 to 70 range, you may end up with effectively 5 classes. There are other methods, of course, for dividing the data. Equal number of data points in each class, for example. There's lots of ways of doing it. So there's a great deal to consider when putting together a good thematic map.